Community groups are at the very core of our society. At present in the North, over 27,000 people work in the community and voluntary sector. They are dedicated people who work long, often unsociable hours for low pay. Tens of thousands more volunteer week in, week out, supporting in many cases the most vulnerable and disadvantaged in our society.
Article 8 was formed in 1989. It was formed to help to integrate young people with disabilities and those without. It started off in the Shankill Leisure Centre. We've been mostly based on the Shankill Road. And we're running now for 21 years, and this is our 21st anniversary on November. In March this year, we got a devastating blow from the department. That's the Children's Fund, decided the funding for the children would end. This was 1 week's notice. We had to lay off 4 members of staff immediately, and 60-odd children were then told that they can't come back to the centre because there was no funding. This is due to government cuts.
Community organisations provide frontline services to our people and already cushion the impact of poor healthcare, low wages and inadequate government funding. These organisations provide and support care for our elderly, childcare for our working parents, support for victims of domestic violence and access to education and training for those seeking a return to employment. Critically, their commitment to cross-community work continually supports victims of the political conflict on all sides, whilst taking our youth off the streets and assisting them to engage in constructive activities and pastimes. Can you imagine a world where these services and supports are no longer available? Just imagine, what would our communities look like?
I'm a youth worker for Jack. I'm also a member of Siptu. The youth group is based in North Belfast, which has been affected by decades of trouble. Young people feel disenfranchised, and at this moment in time they're thinking about taking away the funding from many of the community centres that are based in North Belfast. This is unacceptable. Without these organisations something going, there wouldn't be anywhere for the young people to go, wouldn't be anywhere for them to get small achievements that builds their confidence, that makes them into better people. At present, there's very few youth centres left in North Belfast operating a capacity where young people can come in numbers, do award-winning work that gets them their qualifications, that they can become the next generation of youth workers. We're being threatened by cuts that is going to take away all opportunities of young people becoming successful adults.
I think it's very important that the community sector do get involved in the union and get working together collectively, because what lies ahead for community sector is some very poor things ahead of us, and at this stage I think people need to stand up, realise, right, let's get together, work together and address the issues that we're going to be facing in a few months' time.
Right now, vital community services and the people that provide them are under threat of cutbacks and closures. But who will pay the ultimate cost? It will be the most disadvantaged, the most vulnerable in our communities that will suffer. It will be your local youth clubs that will close, and it will be your childcare projects that will go to the wall. It will be the projects, their employees, their clients and their neighbours and all our children who will suffer. Already some key services are closing their doors, and some providers are spending as much time trying to source funding as they are trying to provide the services that their clients need.
I've worked for 10 years in the community sector in North Belfast, and in my experience a lot of our time has been diverted through the funding process, and we have, as a consequence of that system, been quite isolated and haven't always recognised that we've got a common purpose and common issues. And if these cuts are coming, which they clearly are, the only way that we can resist them is to speak with one voice. And that would be why I've joined Siptu and why I've been encouraging others in the community sector in my area to join Siptu.
Cuts to frontline community services will not only mean jobs lost to the economy, but the reduction of these vital services. Services that none of us can afford to do without. Siptu believes that all of our local politicians and all of our executive ministers should join with our communities in vigorously opposing these cuts to frontline services. Join with Siptu in our campaign to stand up for these communities, for your communities. Let's unite our communities together to ensure that they win the protection and recognition that they deserve. Join Siptu now.